Holding the Chinese Communist Party accountable for directly fueling the fentanyl crisis in the United States is the aim of 3 new bipartisan House bills. A working group within the Select Committee on the CCP says the Communist Party is subsidizing the creation of fentanyl's precursor chemicals. And NTD correspondent Jason Blair joins us now live from the Capitol. Jason, what's the latest on this?
Yeah, so the working group was very happy to unveil these 3 bipartisan bills. And what they've discovered is that the CCP is subsidizing these chemicals that are needed to make the illicit opioid drug fentanyl. And basically what that means is they are putting tax breaks. They're offering tax breaks to companies that make these drugs. Now, I talked to the committee's chair more about this, and here's what he had to say.
At the same time, the Chinese Communist Party is saying that they will cooperate with us to address our drug problem. They're subsidizing companies to make these dangerous chemicals that are shipped into our country. So it really attacks the credibility of the CCP.
And the ranking member, Rep. Krishnamurthy, also said that 97%, the CCP is responsible for exporting 97% of these precursor drugs into the U.S.
Jason, 3 bills all related to the Chinese Communist Party being launched. It's quite incredible. Tell us more about these bills.
Yeah, the working group was very happy to unveil these. They are very proud that they are bipartisan. Let me read the names for these 3 bills real quick. The first one, the Joint Task Force to Counter Illicit Synthetic Narcotics Act, the CCP Fentanyl Sanctions Act, and the International Protection from PRC Fentanyl and Other Synthetic Opioids Act. Now, these bills address a range of areas, including the trafficking aspect and really honing in on the CCP's role in the trafficking process, as well as also the money laundering aspect. And the committee said that these bills are kind of the accumulation of all of their research and investigation throughout 118th Congress, as well as the crucial recommendations from the different people that they have had to come in, the witnesses. And I talked to also Rep. Steele, who is a committee member, after their meeting today, and here's her comments on these bills.
These bills that we've been talking about it during the subcommittee meetings, and we brought all the witnesses, and we heard that exactly what was going on. So we've been studying a lot, and this is the start. You know what? Financial institutions, because they are the one actually money laundering, without knowing or not knowing, but something has to be done. So we started this, and these 3 bills are really important, and it's kind of a warning to China too.
And another thing that Rep. Steele told me is that 200 people a day die in the U.S. from fentanyl poisoning or overdose. And so it's really a very big issue, a growing issue that is a big concern for everybody, a lot of people in the country. And she's said that she's optimistic about the 119th Congress coming in next year, that both houses will be taking this fentanyl issue seriously.
Jason Blair, live from the Capitol. Thank you. And how is the fentanyl epidemic affecting communities across America? Are folks aware that China is producing most of the deadly drug's precursor chemicals to actually make it into the deadly drug that's killing thousands of Americans? NTD's Sam Wong was out on the National Mall to hear from the folks.
How has this fentanyl crisis affected your community?
My community? Well, I'm in Canada, and from Canada, and there's a lot of fentanyl up there as well. Most of it's imported from China. 1 or 2 people are dying every week in my hometown. Every 2 weeks.
We live in Arizona, and it has quite a bit. There's a lot of people suffering from the addiction. Their body just falls apart on them, basically, and they become very isolated, homeless.
We do see in our community, as Dean was saying, people who are obviously addicted, very malnourished, no teeth.
In my community specifically, I've just seen an increase of people who are without housing, and then I see a lot of them like asking for resources and asking for support.
Most of the fentanyl precursors came from China. So, so how are you reacting to this information?
It's so easy, like to import it because it's like such a small amount. They can put it in like a letter and mail it.
Pause, like great pause. I'm so busy dealing with the consequences of it, I don't oftentimes get to deal with that particular root of it.
Well, that's news to me, but I try real hard not to pay attention to news these days because I find it disturbing. I feel that most of the animosity that we're aiming at Mexico is very misplaced. I had no idea that it was coming from China.
China seems to be sending the drugs in through Mexico. That seems to be a major issue for the southern regions that are all along the border.